Hi everyone, I am Christian Rodriguez Galpare from College of Teacher Education, and for today, I'm gonna show to you the topics that I have best learned in this subject, Ed 305. So the first topic that I have best learned in this subject is the types of assessment. So I believe that there are three types of assessment. These are the diagnostic assessment. The second one is the formative assessment, and lastly, the summative assessment. So now let's tackle the diagnostic assessment. So diagnostic assessment is a form of pre-assessment where teachers can evaluate students' strengths, weaknesses, knowledge, and skills before their instructions. With this form of assessment, teachers can plan meaningfully and efficient instructions and can provide students with an individualized learning experiences. So diagnostic assessment refers to an assessment written at the beginning and the end of the course. A course assessment can be compared with a pre-course assessment and can show students' potential improvement in the certain areas. These assessments allows the instructor to adjust the curriculum to meet the needs of the current and the future students. So this is the example of diagnostic assessment. So for the next types of assessment is the formative assessment. So formative assessment, the goal of the formative assessment is to monitor students' learning to provide ongoing feedback that can be used by instructors to improve their teaching and by students to improve their learning. Most specifically, formative assessment helps students identify their strengths and weaknesses and target areas that need work. Um, Impromptu quizzes and anonymous voting short comparative assessment to see how pupils are performing against their peers. 1 minute papers on the specific subject matters, lesson exit tickets to summary with pupils have learned, silent classroom polls. So formative assessment have low stakes and usually carry no grade, which in some instances may discourage the students from doing the task or fully engaging with it. So examples of the formative assessment including asking students draw a concept map in the class to present their understanding of the topic, submit one of the two sentences identifying the main point of a lecture, turn in a research proposal for early feedback. So one of the best example that I could give in the formative assessment is portfolio. Portfolio assessment can be a form of both formative and summative assessment. As a formative assessment tools, portfolio allows teachers to provide feedback on the learner's progress. So let's now proceed to the last type of assessment, which is the summative assessment. So summative assessment, the goal of the summative assessment is to evaluate students' learning at the end of an instructional unit by comparing it against some standard or benchmark. Summative assessments are often high stakes, which means that they have a high point value. So summative assessment are used to evaluate students' learning skills, acquisition, and academic achievement at the conclusion of the defined instructional period, typically at the end of the project, unit, course, semester, programs, or school year. So this is example of the summative assessment. So that's end of the types of assessment. Again, there are three types of assessment, which are the diagnostic assessment. The second one is the formative assessment. And lastly, the summative assessment. Thank you, and I hope you learned something.